How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about the shooting death of Rayshard Brooks in Atlanta, Georgia at the Wendys drive-thru by two Atlanta Police Department officers. Now, unfortunately, I think both of the officers have been fired, or at least one has been fired. They're talking about charging one or both of the officers with some kind of crime, maybe murder or something like that. The police chief has resigned, most likely at the behest of the mayor, Keisha Lance Bottoms, who at this particular point in time has made being against the police a political thing. She has, I think, higher aspirations, maybe trying to be the vice president, maybe trying to do something else, maybe trying to be the governor. I don't really know. But I think she has a whole anti-police narrative. It's weird because Keisha Lance Bottoms, I just did a video about, I was praising her for going against the so-called protesters tearing up Atlanta. But the things that she is doing and has been doing over the past few weeks will encourage the so-called protesters to come to Atlanta and burn it down, which is what happened to that Wendys. Now, before I get into all of that, let me just tell you what happened with the situation and why people are upset. Now, Rayshard Brooks, this guy was in the drive-thru at the Wendys and he had fallen asleep. He had passed out. Now, shout out to my brother, Brandon Tatum. He was saying that usually if a guy is like that and the drive-thru passed out, he's probably drunk, okay? He came home from the club, trying to get something to eat. He been drinking, and he goes to the drive-thru, falls asleep. So customers are driving around him to get their food. So they call the police. I presume it's Wendys. They call the police to wake him up. So the police, they come to his window, they tap on the glass to get him up, and he wakes up. Now, I don't know if he pulls over at this point or whatever the case is, but when they come to him, he's actually in the drive-thru line holding up traffic. So they knock on the window, they wake him up, and he gets out the car. They're talking to him, having a conversation. Everything's fine. Everything's nice. You know, they're asking him about, you know, how much have you had to drink and, you know, just a few questions about what's going on. It lasts for about 8 to 10 minutes of conversation. If you want to see that full conversation, I'll link to that in the box below. But they cut to the chase. They're like, okay, I think you've been drinking a little bit too much. Breathalyzer test. So they give him the test, and he doesn't do very well. After the test, that's where things kind of go off the rails. Now, before I go any further, let's roll this clip. In this clip, you'll see the series of events that happen after the breathalyzer test get administered. Then you'll see all of what people have been talking about in full context. People are saying, oh, we got shot in the back. All he had was a taser. You'll see all of that in this clip with my commentary on it. After we get done with that, I'll talk about how I feel about what was going on in my commentary. I'll give you the rest of my 2 cents, my deep detailed analysis, and then I'll wrap it on up with a nice bow on top. So without further ado, let's go ahead and roll it.
All right, just take a deep breath in, put your mouth over the mouthpiece, blow as hard as you can until I tell you to stop. Blow, 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 stop. Very good.
So everything was just fine right there. They were very polite with him, as it had been all throughout this entire interaction. Gave him breathalyzer test. It's all good. Okay, you did it. Now let's get to the next step.
I just had a few drinks. That's it.
Now let's pause right there. I just had a few drinks. Now what you didn't see is what I didn't play, which was that like 10-minute talk they had before this particular part of the tape. What he said at first was, oh, I just had a drink and a half. Now it's, I've had a few drinks. So I think that he knows at this point that he's not going to pass breathalyzer test. I mean, they found him in the drive-thru, passed out, obviously drunk. So he knows that he's probably failed it.
How many?
You want to give me a burger or something?
Right.
Just take me home. I'm ready to go.
So you had about 1.5 drinks, but you don't remember what kind of drinks they were?
No, sir.
All right.
I really don't, Mr.
All right, I think you've had too much to drink to be driving. Put your hands behind your back for me.
Now, let's pause right here again. They're very polite. It's like, okay, you got too much to drink to be driving. Put your hands behind your back. No raising the voice, no escalation. Very respectful. You should just right here get cuffed up, go to the drunk tank. He probably get out the next day. If he can get a lawyer, he can probably beat the case. It might be a slap on the wrist, all right? Because he wasn't actually moving in the road while they got him, but he was behind the wheel of the car. We'll get to that in a little bit.
Here, put your hands behind your back.
So now he wants to resist, okay? He wants to kind of like rock you to sleep, thinking I'm going to get cuffed up, and then he wants to resist and try to run away. This is where things go from bad, just having a DWI, DUI, or whatever, to worse. Now your life is in danger.
Hey, stop! Stop fighting. Stop fighting. Stop fighting. You're gonna get tased. You're gonna get tased. Stop.
Mr. Ross.
Stop.
Come on, man.
Stop. You're gonna get tased.
Mr. Ross.
Hands off the fucking taser. Hands off the taser. Stop.
So they're saying, get off the taser. Hands off the taser. That's what they're saying right here in this clip, because the guy is actively trying to grab the taser from the officer, which is a bad move.
Hands off the taser. Stop fighting.
Now, right here, the body camera has come off of the officer, obviously, because it's just on the ground, looking straight up in the sky.
Fucking taser.
Now, it's a different angle of it. Somebody, because remember, this is a Wendy's drive-thru, so people are still in the drive-thru trying to get their food. So somebody is recording it from their phone, obviously, and you get a different angle of the whole situation. This is after, you know, the guy tried to break away, tried to fight, all this and that. They got him on the ground. They're trying to subdue him using the taser, which is supposed to be the non-lethal force, right? Or the less lethal force. Actively fighting, obviously.
Oh shit.
Fighting.
Damn.
So right there, you just saw it. I don't know if you saw it, but he punched the officer in his face with a right hand. And there, the officer tries to shoot the taser, and or the guy, Rayshard Brooks, shot his taser. He shot it here, or he shot it at a different point in time. We'll keep on going. So yeah, I think the officer shot his taser. You can hear it, and I think you can see the leads out. But obviously, it didn't work, or he missed. Now, people were just seeing that video I showed you right there, and they think that's the end of it, and that's all. He got shot in the back for running away, but you didn't see all of the footage. And here's some more. So you could see them chasing them, and you see Rayshard run and then turn. He did almost a 180 and then fired the taser at the cop. So I don't know if you saw it right there. I'm back up a little bit. Let's try to get it right there. Boom. You see this right here? He fires the taser at the cop. So it's like, what can the cop do? If the guy is shooting the taser at him, he can disable him. He can get his weapon, kill the officer, kill the other officer, kill people that are right here in the line, because remember, this is a drive-through. These are cars waiting to get their food in the line, okay? So what are you supposed to actually do in that situation? All right, so you heard that, you saw that. Now, it's pretty clear to me what's going on. This guy resisted arrest. He had been drinking. He was drunk. He did everything wrong, okay? The first thing was drinking and driving. You can't do that. I mean, you can not only kill yourself, but also kill others. You are not safe when you're on the road drinking and driving. It is illegal. It can be a felony. You can actually get locked up with some serious time behind drinking and driving. Now, some are going to say, oh, he wasn't driving the car. He was parked, or he was in a drive-through. Well, let's answer me this, Mr. or Mrs. Rocket Scientist. How did he get to the drive-through to begin with? Did he just walk the car like it's a bike? Did he just walk his car there and just leave it in the middle of the drive-through and fall asleep inside? Is that what he did? Or did he drive it? Also, let's look at the law. In Georgia, as it is in many different states, if you are behind the wheel of a car, you are operating the vehicle. Operating a vehicle while you're impaired is called DWI, DUI, whatever. You cannot do it, all right? Even if you're parked on the side of the road with the engine off, that could be considered DUI depending upon the circumstances. But he was actually in the drive-through line behind the wheel of the car. So, I mean, you're DWI. That's simple as that. That's illegal. You can't do it. That's why they arrested him. And some are going to say, oh, well, they should have let him go when he tried to resist. Really? So a guy behind the wheel of the car drunk, just let him go. Just let him do whatever he wants to do. So then if he gets another car by chance and happens to drive that while still drunk and then kill somebody, What are they going to say? Oh, the police had him right there. They should have locked him up. They just let him go. They're being irresponsible. They couldn't get the job done. You see what I'm saying? And then they got the taser and ran away. They said, okay, let him go at that point. But he has a taser. So you're going to let him just take the taser from the cop. You punch him in the face. That's all kind of, you resisting arrest, drinking and driving, assaulting an officer, stealing police weapon. So you're going to let him take that, steal it, and then use it on somebody else, carjack. And again, you could carjack somebody trying to get away, trying to get home, crash a car, kill himself, kill somebody else, hurting the driver of the car that he carjacked. That doesn't make any sense to let him go after that, okay? You got to arrest this man. And everything was fine. They were going to arrest him. It would have been good. Like I said in the video, Brandon Tatum said it. Just go to jail, man. You probably get a lawyer that could actually beat the case. You might get a slap on the wrist, but yet you want to go through this whole process trying to run away for what? Where are you even going? Okay. Then they said he shouldn't have got shot in the back. Well, you shouldn't have, number one, fought the officer. Number two, took the taser. Number three, turned around and shot a taser at the cop. Not just pointed. People are saying that he pointed taser. No, he didn't just point it. He actually let it go. He shot a taser at the cop. If the cop is hit with the taser and becomes immobilized, now the gun he has on him is going to be on the ground. It's going to be free. The person can go get the gun, shoot and kill the officer, shoot his partner, shoot himself, or shoot any of the people that are in that line just waiting for their food at the Wendys. Okay, so you don't want to see that happen. You want to apprehend this guy. And everything was fine up until he started to fight and resist. The moral of the story here is don't resist. Don't resist arrest, okay? Everything would have been fine, peaches and rainbows, if you did not resist arrest. Now, some would say, hey, ABL, it's a taser. You got to have more non-lethal methods of being able to subdue somebody. A taser, non-lethal weapon, not deadly weapon, not a firearm. Well, shout out to Topher Town Music for this one. He was saying in this video that if you have a taser and or a stun gun, that is considered a deadly weapon and or a firearm under Georgia law. And if you use that and commission of a crime, you can go to jail for that because it's the same thing as using a gun. Okay, you can immobilize somebody and or kill them. You can die from a taser strike. So this whole thing about it being non-lethal is not necessarily factual. It's less lethal, but you can still die from a taser. The strike itself can kill you from the voltage, and also you can die from hitting your head while you're falling because you can't control yourself while you fall, from being immobilized by a taser. It is a deadly weapon. And if it's not a deadly weapon, then tell that to the Atlanta mayor and the DA. 2 weeks ago or more, I think at the end of May, there was a case where a bunch of Atlanta cops got fired. I think it might have been 6 cops got fired. 2 at least were black. One was like a 30-year veteran for using the taser on college kids. All right. I think there might be some criminal charges against the cops talking about, oh, boy, the taser, deadly weapon. So if the taser is a deadly weapon in that case with the college kids, when the police officers use it on the kids or the adults, whatever they are, then why is it different when it comes to this case? If it's deadly force in the case of the cops using it against the college students, then why is it different when it comes to this guy, the drunk guy, using it against the cops? It should be the same thing, right? The mayor and the DA, I feel like, are just having this anti-police, I don't know what you call it, an anti-police crusade of sorts. And I don't understand their purpose. Maybe, like I said earlier, it could be because Keisha Lance Bottoms, the mayor of Atlanta, has higher aspirations, trying to become the vice president, trying to become the governor. I don't really know what it is, but obviously this is politically motivated. Now, people ask me, why did the cops get fired? Why did the chief of police step down? It's political because you had cops getting fired for using the taser and nothing else, talking about it's a deadly weapon. Now you got cops getting fired for retaliating against deadly force, being the taser with a gun. So it doesn't make any sense. It's not really consistent. It's all about politics, in my humble opinion. Now, some are going to say, hey, ABL, they said it was a homicide. It was ruled a homicide. That means that the police officers who killed this man are going to go to jail, right? They're guilty of homicide, right? No. Homicide in this context just refers to the method in which someone died. Just like suicide means that they died because of themselves. They killed themselves. Homicide just means that a person killed somebody. And under that classification, you can have self-defense, manslaughter, murder. The term homicide does not indicate criminality. Now, the mainstream media, they know this, but they'll put it out there to the regular normie, the average person, because they don't know this. That's why I'm here to just clarify things for you a little bit. Shout out to the police chief. She had no choice, in my humble opinion. Been there 20 years and stepped down. I think you're going to see a lot more cops step down all over the country, because how they going to do their jobs? If you are going to be brought up on charges for defending your life when a guy punches you in the face, wrestles with you, trying to fight, is drunk, belligerent, resistant, and takes your weapon, your taser, and shoots at you with it, and then you get fired for returning fire and he dies, it's crazy. If the guy would have shot the officer with the taser, immobilized him, took his gun, shot him, it wouldn't really be a big deal. Now they burning up the Wendys right there where it happened. Now some are going to say, oh, it was the white girl burning up the Wendys, it wasn't the black folks doing it. Well, why is everybody got a story to tell in the videotape, but at the same time nobody stopped her, huh? If it's her doing it and she shouldn't have done it and it was wrong, why do I see all these tapes, all these eyewitness reports from black folks talking about she did it, it ain't our fault, she did it? You could have stopped it, and the fire rescue could have come to put out the fire. It wasn't this big raging fire from the very beginning. It wasn't just like, okay, she lit it and then it just blew up. That's not how it works. She said a small fire or several small fires that could have been put out with a fire extinguisher, but you can't get fire and police to that location because of all the so-called peaceful protesters. This is why I say rioter, so-called peaceful protester, I can't tell the difference at this particular point as far as the George Floyd thing is concerned. You're blocking I-75, you're blocking the road to get to the Wendys to put it out, and it was a BP right there, actual gas station, right next to the Wendys. Now, thank God it didn't blow up. It could have blown up. And all these people that were out there could have been French toast. You understand what I'm saying? So as I close, I want to say this. We got to stop this stuff, okay? There's no point in being out there protesting, blocking roads, blocking traffic. Stop protecting criminals and stop resisting arrest. I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? Do you think that Rayshard Brooks was in the right for resisting arrest? If that's your viewpoint, let me know why in the comments below. Or was he wrong for resisting arrest? If that's your viewpoint, let me know why in the comments below. You know where I stand. He was wrong for resisting arrest. Just go to jail. They already got you pretty much locked up. You know what you did wrong. It's your fault. You made a mistake. Get locked up. Come out in the morning. Maybe, just maybe, speculating here. I don't know that for sure. But maybe he already been in jail before. Don't want to go back. Maybe he's got warrants. Could have been on probation. We'll see much more about this as it unfolds. We'll probably see his arrest record. If he was on probation and whatever. We'll see all of that. But what I hope and pray does not happen is that this guy becomes immortalized like George Floyd. Please don't do that. Like I said, George Floyd, officer, you could say he was in the wrong. I wouldn't disagree with you. I'll be right there with you. But in this case, the officers was right on point. Hopefully they sue Atlanta, Keisha Lance Bottoms, the DA, everybody that had a hand in the termination. They were wrongfully terminated. The officers did everything right. They were polite. They were kind. They were nice. They were called out there to do their job. They did their job well. They get punched in the face. Taser stolen, taser fired at them, and they fire back. Then they get fired as a result. Totally ridiculous. But whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.